Hello, friends, family, saints, and ain'ts. Happy Thursday. Thankful Thursday. It is November 14th. Just a few days. I think it's 318th day. I forgot to look. 319th day of 2024. Just a few weeks left in the year. Today is actually National Seatbelt Day. National Seatbelt Day. It's also National Pickle Day and International Girls Day. I like that. And the International Seatbelt Day really kind of ties into what we're talking about today on what I like to call Radiant Wrap, where we talk about things to help us to be radiant as we live healthy and whole, like rest and activity awareness, our diet and introspection, our meditation and our prayer. That's the introspection. Agua, which is our water intake, note taking, our journaling, writing things down, and our training of our mind and our body. And so this is just my contribution to that. November is a very important month as far as awareness, health observances. It is American Diabetes Month. It's also COPD Awareness Month. It's Lung Cancer Awareness Month. And it is Alzheimer's Awareness Month. And although we cannot guarantee, there's no utopia for health, there are particular things that we can do to decrease risk of acquiring certain diseases, and a lot of those are included. Well, today I wanted to talk about a book. The book of the month, I actually did a few notes, and the notes that I did are strictly from the book, okay? It gave us some really good, me and everybody who's read it, there's millions of people who have read this book, good tips for squashing bad habits and for establishing some good habits. The book, Atomic Habits. I don't know why I have it there a little. That's the name of the books. But I just wrote down, now this I did do myself. I wrote down a couple of habits that came to mind. Some good habits like smiling and meditation. You can think of some good habits that come to mind for you. Water intake, exercise, learning something new, time management, getting up early, perhaps. That's relative, right? Sleeping hygiene, getting enough sleep, which is one of the radiant things that we try to do. The number one, R, is for rest. And then I just made an equal number of bad habits that we might want to overcome, like procrastination and lying and gossiping. I think all of those are pretty bad, right? Smoking, thinking negatively, excessive drinking and drug addictions, and being too sedentary. Those are some that come to mind. There's probably some others that come to mind. What are yours? Any of these on this list here that you would consider to be good habits, or any of these that you consider to be bad habits? Yours could be totally different. So this is the book. It's by James Clear. I definitely recommend it. Over 20 million copies were sold, and that was the book of the month. Oh, that looks really small. Can I increase it? I wonder if it looks small on your side. Maybe not. Is that better? So first of all, I don't know why I have that number one there, but first of all, I just had a few questions that James Clear asked, and I just pulled a couple of them. So in the past, have you approached your habits with more of a system-based or a goal-based approach. And I can say for myself that until more recently, habits I thought of as goal. Everything was more goal oriented. And what I'm finding, and what I have found, and what a lot of my mentors have taught me and continue to teach me is that systems are way better than goal setting and motivation, because motivation don't last. And so another question was, what identities have you adopted that might be holding you back? Like, for example, I'm horrible at math, or I'm not a morning person. We take on these identities, and this self-talk and that we say out loud could be affecting our behavior. So is it possible that we could refrain our self-talk in a more empowering and positive way? So that's just a few of the questions. The last one there, have you ever tried to break a bad habit by relying on motivation? Typo there. And willpower, which I already mentioned. And how that, especially like as a trainer, I've found that it doesn't work. So that was one of the areas where I started coaching my clients and teaching my students, making recommendations to my students to get some systems in place and to develop habits. So there are things that we can do to make the good habits successful. And one of the things is to just write them down, like write down what it is that are your habits, whether good or bad, you can write them down. And there's a system that James Clear recommends that we use. And I am definitely going to incorporate this more, particularly with my clients, because a lot of times it's kind of evasive, like, I'm going to work out, a couple days a week. But from what he is saying and what he has observed, if we can make a commitment, I will, whether it's working out or whatever the behavior is that you would like to become more efficient at, I will drink water at what time? As soon as I wake up in the morning. And where? I'm going to have the water bottle by my bed. So that was one of the things that he said that we can do. I want to come back to it. I really didn't want to have that right up off the rip. I'm going to come back to that one. So maybe, because we're not going to be here all day. But those are just some of the recommendations. Let me go back. I'm so sorry. This is a little bit out of order, the order that I wanted it to be in. But for good habits, what he is saying is also to design the environment. So if you, the way you want that good habit to be. So I was doing a lot of this without even realizing I was doing it. Like for the water example, I would have the water bottle by my bed. I have, carry my water bottle with me. I have usually a really, I've kind of gone into like one that is can keep the water cool all day or most of the day. So just being more strategic with what we want to do. Maybe it's to read more. That's an example that James Clear uses in the book, that after you make your bed, you put the book on the bed because you want to read at night. And so that's just setting you up for more success. And so that was something that he talked about. And like I said, I really didn't want to have that slide there, but there you go. The habit loop is made up of 4 things that create the habit. The cue is the stimulant, like something that happens that triggers the desire or the craving. So something happens, it triggers that craving. We respond to the craving, and then we get the reward. Here's the deal. When it's a bad habit, say, I used to be a smoker, right? And I don't even know if that's a good habit. All right. Maybe say weed. The first time you smoke weed, and I have done that before. I don't do that now, but I have. And a lot of people do. And maybe it was to relax you or to get some kind of high. The first time, typically, you get the reward at the end. But in this, I'm like fact checking it from my experience. James says that after that, it is the thought of getting that or doing that behavior that spikes your dopamine, like that. It's before you get the behavior where you get that release of excitement. And then when you do the behavior, it a lot of times doesn't live up to the hype. So it's kind of like chasing the high. Gambler, same thing. You never get that euphoria that you got the first time, especially with addictions. And he used an example in the book of children during Christmas, just leading up to it, even as adults, right? Leading up to the day of the party. That's more exciting than the actual party. The kids on Christmas morning, the whole anticipation of Christmas coming, that's more exciting than the actual day. So this just continues to loop around and around the habit loop, for good or for bad. Now, I wanted to show this. Because what James is explaining here is that we don't have to be great. We just need to look at trying to be better, a little bit better every day, not focusing so much on the outcome, but just improving ourselves. And what typically happens, if you look at this chart here, if you look all the way to the left where it says improvement and decline, that if we're just doing a little bit every day, in the beginning, it's a straight line. You don't see the improvement necessarily. And so if it's like weight loss, you're not losing weight. And then you get on the scale day 2, day 3, and then, it's not working, and you give up. Or, you're going to the gym, you go for a couple weeks and then you give up. Whereas if you improve 1%, just 1% every day, by the end of the year, you would have improved 37%. Whereas if you quit, you haven't improved at all. You'll be worse off than you were when you started. So I thought that was a very interesting chart. And also this chart as well, because it just is talking about how in the beginning, again, that line that eventually starts to go up, it's slow. It's a slow increase for the results of trying to get a good habit or not a good, get rid of a bad habit, either way. So I thought those were really interesting. So from that first page with all that information, this is the main thing that I wanted you to see from that page, is setting this intention. I will, whatever it is that you want to incorporate into your day, your routines, your habit. I will do this at what time? And in what location? Be more specific. And if you do, you will be more likely to succeed in these behaviors. And this I love too. To actually start with considering that what our identity is and who it is that we want to be. Considering who it is that we want to be, as opposed to what the outcome is. And I like that with the identity. He says there's a difference between saying, I'm trying to quit smoking and I'm not a smoker. That's an identity, that, I'm trying to drink more water, as opposed to I am improving my health. And just little things like that can help us. Our environment is very important too. And I know, trust me, I know you can't always control your environment. But here was just this one study of a cafeteria in a hospital, where in that first picture, the darker locations is where they had water. And then they had soda and all the other juices and everything all around. And all they did was put more waters in additional locations. So without motivation, without willpower, nothing like that, just changing the environment, people began to drink more water. The staff began drinking more water because it was more accessible. So consider putting a fruit bowl out. That's one that I have done for years now. But just having a nice bowl of fruit out that looks appetizing, you're going to be more likely to grab that as opposed to having the candy out, right? But try to make your environment the way you want it to be. And also hang out with people that you want to, that are already the way that you would like to be. Okay, so here were some of the questions. That other page, I don't know, I was going so fast. It wasn't supposed to be there. This was what it was supposed to look like, this page here. Okay, so these are some of the questions we already went over that you can ask yourself. You can go back and look at them, but we talked about them in the beginning on that little jumbled screen, and then you were supposed to see this page. So that threw me off. I think I was supposed to delete that page. I love it. I love me with flaws and all. So here is the side for making good habits and the side for breaking bad habits. And really, they're basically opposite of one another. You want to, if you're trying to get rid of a habit, you want to have as little exposure to that habit as possible. And you want to have a lot of, make it harder for you to achieve it. Like if you don't want to watch television in your bedroom, well, take the television out. Or you don't want to look at your phone at night, don't have it by the bed. Guilty. I was doing really good for a while, but not so much, especially since I've been putting books on my phone, and I have my Duolingo learning Spanish on my phone. I have my Bible study app that I'm doing in 1 year on my phone. It's a hot mess. So I have to get back to doing that. But here, these are some things that you can do. One of the things that I did like before we go is the stacking. So making it obvious under the good habits, habit stacking. if you have a good habit, and this is one of the ones I picked up from reading this book. If I have a good habit, I already do this habit, then add another habit that I want to accomplish right before it or right after it. So for me, I have a good habit of getting up in the morning and going for a walk. Get up in the morning, go for a walk. I do it while I'm on a morning devotion call, and it's pretty non-negotiable. I do that. Now, what I don't do is before or after make my bed. And I don't like it being noon before I get that bed made. Like, I want to make the bed. It makes my day like just more organized if my bed is made. That's for me, my mind can easily be cluttered. So the less clutter I have around me, the better. Bed made means I'm more organized. I got it together. So I started making sure I get up early enough to make my bed. Another one that I'm starting to do is when I get in the bed, jury's out on this one, but I'm trying to do this one. Get in the bed, kiss my husband as soon as I get in the bed. He might already be in the bed. And so just give him a little, peck. And a bad habit that I'm working on. So that was the stacking part. Now, I want to be a more peaceful person. So if someone may be excited, right, or maybe upset, I don't want to get defensive, and I don't want my voice to raise. So I'm trying to work on just listening and being calm. So I have things that I'm working on. Work in progress, aren't we all? So that is just an overview, little one, of Atomic Habits by James Clear. Highly recommend it. If you have any questions, tell me what your habits might be. And maybe you can go and answer one or two of the questions or add whatever comments that you would like to add. I would love to hear your feedback. Love to hear it. Mommy, that's right. I wasn't seeing the screen because I had it up so big. So I'm not sure what you were saying. That's true. That's my mom, y'all, Beatrice. Hey, Mom. And Steve, hi. How are you? I missed you this week. You weren't in class this week. Let's see. I didn't mean to call you out, but I love you. Sounds good. Add fuel development toward good habits and put things away for the bad habit. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So just some things that we can work on. This book is in the library. And do you all have the app, the library app? I know they have them all around the country. Do you have it on your phone so you can look and see and check out books from your library if you want to, or your Kindle, or you can go to the library and get a copy. Now, this one I couldn't because all the copies, they had a bunch of copies, but they were all out and the waiting list was like so long. So I couldn't check this one out, but sometimes I do. Sometimes I like to buy books. I like to feel them. I like to touch them. I like to, put my hands on them. Sometimes I like audio books too. Yes, Mom, I did a quote on this, Mom, from Les Brown, Mom. And the quote is, I said it in class this week. We are never too old to have a new goal or to dream a new dream. So yes, Mommy, you are a good example of that because you're always picking up new things, learning new things. You learned how to, at 83, well, way before 83, but you learn how to use the computer. You're always learning different apps. You're always, just being open to learning new things. which is awesome. You watch the news a heck of a lot, you and Poppy. So you're learning all the time through the news, but I can't do that. I can't do that. So yeah, we were on way longer than I expected, longer than we typically are. But I love you all so much, and there's nothing you can do about it. You, my friend, have greatness inside of you, and I believe in you. And I know that presentation wasn't that great. I kind of threw it together at the last minute, but I did want to share, and I'll do better next time. How about that? All right. Love you. Bye for now.